Hello and welcome. This is Rooflemonger, my friends. Today we're here to talk about Potemkin. There's a lot of things you can say about Potemkin. Hardworking, honest, and perhaps most of all, humble. But some people have a problem, and that problem lies within the Garuda Impact. So in this video, I'm going to tell you how to survive the Garuda Impact to let you know what your options are against the move. Now, has this ever happened to you? You get knocked down by Potemkin, and then you eat Garuda Impact after Garuda Impact after Garuda Impact after Garuda Impact. Like, look at your life. You're losing more life to the Garuda Impact chip damage than like the actual combo that knocked you down, right? That's very scary, but at least, sometimes they'll eventually push you out. I guess that's something. Well, that is anyways, until you meet the Potemkin that knows how to do Para Garuda Impact and kind of work his way back in, right? So he's never gonna leave you. What happens then? What do you do? What are your options?
What is it you want us to do?
So how do we get around with, or at the very least mitigate it, right? Well, the biggest thing you can be armed with, as in any fighting game, is knowledge. So let's talk some of the numbers before we talk about how to mitigate a lot of this, right? So first up, the startup is very slow, but of course, most of the time you're on your back when the startup happens, so that's not too much to worry about. You can bet your sweet Bippy Potemkin's going to do his best to line it up with your wake up, right? So that's fine. So it's slow, but it's only going to happen when you're knocked down. The thing here is this. Blocking it leads to a lot of problems, which of course is the point of the move, right? But when you block this move is plus 19 on block. That is almost a third of a second that he has advantage over you, right? So if he just goes Garuda Impact into Garuda Impact, the amount of time you have in between those two is like less than like a stand slash. Like it's 9 frames. Like it's very, very, very small. Now, thankfully, in just the pure situation of, he's always going to do it next, and there's like no mystery, right? If you know he's going to do it next, you can just jump out. In most situations, we'll talk about one you can't in a minute, but you can just jump out for the most part. 9 frames isn't a lot of space to jump out safely, but it is enough. And once again, with that big startup, 28 frame startup, that is what we call seeable. So if you see him just setting up the gun, if he just does one into another, you will definitely have enough time to just, frankly, jump out and then punish him, bonk him on the head, whatever you want to do. Now, that said, very quick note on the jumping out option specifically. First of all, don't jump out when it's immediately after the knockdown, because the thing is, almost every Garuda is going to be very meaty. Once again, it's got 19 active frames, right? So it's going to very easily cover your wake up, right? So jumping's not a thing. And since it's going to hit so meaty, if you try to jump out right away, it's going to catch you during your pre-jump frames, like before you even hit the air, which is going to leave you in a grounded stun. And if you're in a grounded stun, the problem is this. You're going to get Potemkin Buster, which is going to be a true combo, right? That's going to be a lot of your health. And it could be even worse if it happens to me in the corner, because then you can start comboing into stuff, right? So jumping right away is not advisable. The only option it could beat is if he goes for the grab immediately. When it comes to Garuda or like pretty much any strike, you're going to lose guaranteed. So don't jump right away. Now, the other thing about jumping is, I mentioned earlier how you could kind of like jump in between the Garudas if you saw the Garuda, right? Because it is a slow startup. But the thing is, most Garuda Impacts, when they do the first one, it'll hit meaty. So that means it hits well into its active frame, which changes the frame data, right? That 9 frame gap all of a sudden is no longer going to be a 9 frame gap. So say I try to hold up back, like I'm going to try to chicken block out of it, right? If I block the first one successfully, and I hold up back, there's just not enough time. So you can see here, right? I can take the hit, block the first one, now holding up back, no dice, right? There just isn't enough time because it hits so late into the move, the frame data has just completely changed. So you don't have enough time to jump out in that scenario. Now, admittedly, that was fairly tight timing, right? If they're sloppy, there will be a gap you can at least hold up back out of. Or if they try to Kara cancel the second Garuda Impact, Every character cancel for everything Potemkin does adds a couple extra frames of the animation. So in this case here, the second Garuda Buster is going to be a character cancel one. And at that point, I can hold up back. I still take the chip damage unless, you know, I want to follow his defense, right? But at that point, I can hold up back. And then at the very least, yeah, I'll take the chip, sure. But I'm kind of out of dodge for a bit. I'm still negative. Very negative. So Potemkin wants to send you a lovely little hand chop here, and you try to hit any button, you're going to get smacked. And then it'll be the big boy counter hit, then you got all sorts of other problems, right? After the second one, though, there's no possible way of having the meaty bonus of hitting it well into its active frames. So those additional plus frames, it can't happen after the second one. So after that second one, if you know it's coming, jumping is completely safe and completely doable. Now, realistically, one of your safest options is to backdash. Now, I know you're just listening to me talk, and Rooflemonger, doesn't that move have a million active frames? Like, I can't backdash out of it, I'll get hit. And, well, yeah, you'll get hit. You took the hit, and it flung you all the way across the screen. You're safe, you're out of the mix-up. If you've ever played Street Fighter V, you probably know the term take the throw. Because it sucks, you get hurt, you get hit. But it's the least scary of all the possible things that can happen to you, right? So in this scenario, you backdash, you do get hit, but you get flung across the screen. The nightmare is over. You took your health penalty and the damage, sure, but now you just no longer have to deal with it. Now, if you're at or near the corner, though, this isn't as advisable. Because if you're at or near the corner, it will wall bounce you, at which point Potemkin gets follow-ups. So it's not the catch-all, I'm sorry to say. If you're against the wall, well, you're up against the wall against the guy who literally can't run, right? So you screwed up somewhere, and I guess you have to pay the price at some point, right? But backdashing is a very valid way to get rid of this, right? Because it beats so many of the options. If he wakes up in your face, if he goes for the grab, obviously backdash beats the grab. If he goes for trying to go for like close S or something, a lot of the time you can backdash through the close S. Close S only has 4 active frames, and every backdash for the most part, except for a few which are even better, are like 4 frames or more of invincibility, right? So if they're trying to do meaty close S, you'll go through it. Stand S, I guess you'll take the hit. It's not that big of a deal, really. But yeah, a lot of options. Just take the hit, get out of dodge is what I'm trying to tell you. Because it's a lot better than just, you know, being in the blender and worst case scenario this happens. Or even worst case scenario, you took so much Garuda Impact damage on chip, you might as well have gotten Potemkin busted. 4 characters with a strike invulnerable move? Well, you're in a better luck than most of the other characters in the game. On multiple levels, in fact. So Chip's going to wake up with his reversal, right? And it clashes and the second hit hits me. So on that base layer 1 level, works out for Chip, right? And obviously it would also beat, like, you know, close S. Like, it would lose the grab, right? Because that's how this game works. Your uppercut style moves are invincible to attacks, but not throws. And a lot of times, depending on the move, depending on the distance, there's no clash, right? The invincible move will just win clean. So that's good. But let's talk about situations where it clashes, because that's multiple layers, and once again, it's all about being aware of your options. So if you're not aware, anytime any moves clash together, you can cancel that move into another move. So say I know in my heart of hearts, Chip is gonna mash and it's gonna clash. The old mash and clash, right? So then, since I'm Potemkin and I know it's gonna clash, I can cancel into anything I want. Whoops! Especially on old Chip, right? Chip can't afford to take stuff like that. So since I know for a fact that clash was going to happen, I can just literally like option select buffer Heavenly Potemkin Buster into the move, right? But don't worry, person who's going to get killed in this scenario, you have options as well. Because you yourself can cancel into anything, right? So if you are the person that's going to do their invincible reversal, and you know it's going to clash, you can cancel into anything you want, right? You can cancel into a normal, a super yourself. Potemkin also gets to cancel, but say in this scenario, we both cancel on the stand slash. Chip simply has a faster move, so Chip's going to win out. End of story. Also, conversely, we go back now to step 1 in most scenarios. Any normal Potemkin can cancel into generally isn't fast enough to beat the second hit of your uppercut, right? In scenarios where you're having multi-hitting uppercut anyways. So basically, then you can just let it rock. If he knows the Heavenly Potemkin Buster option select, then you can just smash any button on your Clash and you'll win, because Heavenly Buster can only hit you if you decide to keep going upwards, right? It's just basically a multi-layered guessing game, I guess I'm trying to tell you, and who knows what the other guy is going to be thinking what to do. Most scenarios, nobody does nothing because nobody remembers how to do this, so uppercut wins. Of course, now, they might bait you if they're further away than normal. There is a range where Garuda can hit and most uppercuts will whiff, but then they're in a poor range to follow up any pressure after the initial hit. But once again, just to let you know what all the options are. Another thing, and maybe I don't have to say this out loud, but you got to say this out loud, right? This is exactly what you save your burst for. So those are some scenarios, because it's a pretty rock, paper, scissors kind of game, and it's rock, paper, scissors in Potemkin's favor. Like, if you're the kind of person that wants to jump out at everything because you're scared, that's not always the best thing. Like, that's so plus, like, you couldn't even get airborne before those hit you, right? Like, that's just not going to work. The move's plus 19 on block, so obviously trading normals isn't going to work because his normal is finished and done before you were even allowed to hit a button. So mashing is not really an option other than trying to abuse invincible stuff. Dealing with this has a lot to do with patience. And patience, like a game like this with damage so high, patience is in very short supply, right? You just want to go, 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 go. If you're standing still for like more than 5 actual seconds, you feel like you're losing. So it kind of fights against what you want to do in this game, but that is what this game is, so you gotta learn and deal. In the end, the best quote-unquote option is to backdash and just take the hit as long as you're not near the corner, because otherwise you'll really regret doing that. But as long as you're not near the corner, just backdash, take the hit, reset the screen. You took your hit, but you're out now. You're out of the blender, right? You'll lose less health than if you block 2 or 3 more Garudas, or, heaven forbid, you just got Potemkin busted, or you just, ate some normals, right? Because that's also really bad too, because Potemkin has highly damaging normals. There's a lot of bad stuff, right? After you block the second one, you're no longer in threat of being in the meaty zone, of the first one being exceptionally plus on block. So at that point, you can kind of just look and wait for the Garuda to happen, and then it's kind of safe to jump out, try to bop him on the head. That's when the real guessing games start to happen. But basically, I'm just telling you this because Potemkin, I don't want people not liking the big boy. He's suffered long enough, right? Let him have his cool, fun move. But it's less cool and less fun when you don't know how to deal with it. So hopefully this video has helped you understand the move better and helped you understand a lot of your options better. The only other advice I have to give you is from wise words of every single Phoenix player in Marvel history: just don't get hit. If you don't get hit, then it's not a problem, right? But other than that, my friends, that is it for this video. So thank you very much for watching. Hope this video has found you well. Go out and play some Guilty Gear.